All right, U3 Sports Talk, unfiltered, unscripted, and unapologetic. Welcome in this Friday evening, and thank you for joining us. If you haven't already, please don't forget to make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. We would love to have you all following us. And this is our first night, actually dual streaming on Facebook. We would love to have you all following us. And this is our first night streaming on Facebook and and YouTube. So again, if you haven't already, please make sure you like, click, and subscribe. And as always, we are joined by the Holy Trinity, not including myself, Cisco, J Mac.
What you mean? You're not in it.
What
you mean?
The third member of the Holy Trinity is anybody watching. So we want to thank you all.
Okay, I can dig it.
Yeah. So again, happy Friday to you all. Happy Friday evening. And again, we just want to go ahead and get right into it. So first things first, we got some news late this afternoon that longtime Temple coach John Chaney passed away earlier today at the age of 89. If you were a college basketball fan in the 80s and 90s, John Temple was among the best of the best. But I want to, pass the mic to J Mac and just kind of get his thoughts on, the news about the coaching of John Chaney and just kind of his legacy as a basketball coach.
Man, yeah, that was a sad dude right there, man. I remember John Chaney for being on that sideline. Nah, man, he was on that sideline with that towel, man. He was a very good mentor to a lot of players.
Yes.
He was always inspiring to watch, even though Temple, you don't look at Temple as a real high profile team in college basketball, but he made it to where you wanted to check out a Temple game.
Yeah.
His style of play, along the lines of John Thompson, may he rest in peace. Defense, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you was going to Temple, if you was being recruited to Temple, and you like to jack a lot of shots, don't go there. Don't sign.
That wasn't it.
Go to a junior college.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he wasn't playing that. You can shoot the ball.
Oh yeah.
You better bend your knees and you better play some defense.
Oh yeah.
Because he had we was talking about it. He had a style of play that even if the other team was more talented, if they didn't bring that A game that night, they was going home.
Oh yeah.
Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah.
I think he was inducted in 2006.
Yeah.
But he's an inspiring guy, man. He always, even after he retired, didn't he do a little broadcasting? Just a little bit. I know he did a lot of interviews.
Yeah.
But yeah, just overall, everything he talked about was inspiring and uplifting. And like I said, he's a very good mentor to a lot of players on and off the court.
Yeah.
And he is what you want if you're a player, deciding to take your career to you want to go to the NBA early, or if you're thinking about going to college, try to familiarize yourself and pick a coach that's going to prepare you for success, not just on the court, but as a man, as a leader, as a future father. And he inspired women basketball as well. I mean, he just inspired the game. He was an icon for the game.
Yeah.
And I salute him. And yeah, just sad news, bro.
Yeah, and it's interesting because if you think about just college basketball in the 80s and the 90s, people always talk about obviously the Big East and the ACC, but the A10 was right there in terms of just competitive basketball. And I can't really remember his matchups, particularly with UMass when John Calipari was there, and obviously they had their little blow up, and that kind of made news and people would show constantly. But they ended up being really good friends and talking life and basketball. So
Mhm.
and again, the other thing for me, the lasting memory of Coach Chaney for me is like Coach Thompson. He was willing to battle with the NCAA, about the standards that seem to keep, players who came from impoverished backgrounds and rough circumstances from getting to college. He would fight that, stuff all day. So, as great a basketball coach as he was, I think he understood, he had platform to help young men and young black men in particular get educated, and that was what he was about. So I know one guy who played for him. I used to work with a guy who played for him, and he used to talk about Coach Chaney, and this guy actually tore up his ankle his freshman year, and wasn't able to suit up and play. And Coach Chaney, still believed in him, still, made sure he had the scholarship and things of that nature. So, Coach Chaney was about taking care of young men, like you said. So, again, don't want to spend a lot of time on this because obviously, it's sad news today. But Coach Chaney left a legacy, and again, I always think about some of the guys who played for him who came out of Temple and went on to the NBA and had long careers, like Eddie Jones, like Aaron McKee, who is currently the head coach at Temple now. So, it's the man's legacy, continues to live on. So,
Yeah, that's a good point about it, McKee, um, because that's what kept him in the league,
right.
and that's what. And it's funny because you talk about Thompson and Chaney because McKee played with Iverson, and those coaches both preach defenses,
Right.
and that's how ultimately Iverson and McKee and them boys went to the finals.
Yep. Yeah.
Because they were ferocious on defense.
Yep. Yeah.
Iverson, one of my favorite players. You could talk about his scoring, but Chaney liked players and Thompson liked players who were fearless and they really get at you,
Yeah.
for the whole game, start to finish. I mean, once you tip that ball up, you're not going to catch your breath until you take a timeout. So,
Yeah. No. No. I mean, it
yeah.
was, and and even talking about just Coach Chaney and Coach Thompson, we can't forget to mention Coach Nolan Richardson, and it's really interesting, when you think about just their style of coaching was they gave you the business. They were fighters. Their teams fought, and you were never out of a game when you played against when you played on those teams because just their style of play. Um, mentioned that. So got a question from Corey Person Senior. He says, "Who is this generation's Chaney and Thompson?" Uh, Probably the guy that comes to mind immediately for me is probably Shaka Smart. I would also say probably Leonard Hamilton from Florida State.
I would say, Leonard Hamilton, um, because he graduates guys.
Right. Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
those guys are down there in Florida State, and he's another one. We're talking about great coaches that ultimately put their teams, made them relevant, made their schools relevant. I
Right.
mean, Richardson in Arkansas.
Yeah.
I mean, growing up in the South, we knew about Arkansas, but when I first watched a Nolan Richardson team, I was like, man,
And it was 40 minutes of hell. They gave teams the business. They pressed you. They were in your face. They got out on the run, and I mean, it didn't matter. What it did not matter. And I remember, I think his team ended up going to the championship game and playing. If I remember correctly, it was either University of Florida or Duke. I can't remember which one. but it was just one of those things where they gave you the business. Also, think about this generation's Chaney and Thompson. Frank Martin from South Carolina was at Kansas State. I think is another one.
I like Thompson's son.
Yeah, John Thompson III.
He because he went through a lot of adversity with Georgetown, because he was there in the years where the players weren't going there.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of it had to do with some of the academic standards that required to go to Georgetown. But
I mean, he had like Jeff Green and guys like that.
But, yeah, I mean, he had a Final Four. He had a Final Four team.
He did. Yeah. So, he's another guy. He walked very well in his father's shoes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. Oh yeah. And here's hoping Patrick Ewing, who's at Georgetown now, obviously, and guys like Anthony Hardaway at Memphis, that they get the chance to kind of build some of the same legacies. But they got some big shoes to fill when you think about just Coach Chaney and Coach Thompson and obviously Coach Nolan Richardson. So
yeah.
So
I would love to see the game of college basketball come back to where we can actually enjoy those epic matches and matchups and highlight what's going on in college basketball these days, because we're kind of getting away from it.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate. I mean, this is another conversation, but some of it has to do, I think, with the one and done rule. We don't necessarily get to see teams build and stay together long term, but we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, again, just want to say, rest in peace to Coach Chaney and prayers and thoughts to his family and those who were, affected by his life.
Yeah, no doubt.
So we got to talk some football. We got to talk Deshaun Watson and this quarterback carousel. So if you haven't heard, yesterday the Texans announced that Deshaun Watson had officially requested a trade, and they announced this right after announcing the hiring of their head coach, David Cullen from the Baltimore Ravens. But it seems now Deshaun Watson's on the block. So we really got to talk about not just the teams that should be interested, but where we ultimately think he will land. And so, Cisco, just want to get your thoughts on the Deshaun Watson situation with the Texans and where you think he may end up. And I have a pretty good idea where you'd like him to end up, but and we want to hear that. But where you ultimately think he may end up.
Well, where I want to end up is obviously the 49ers. But I think we need to look at this moment in NFL history. Could this be that moment to where the players can gain some movement or control of their destinies as far as within the NFL? Because the NFL within itself is a gridlock. You sign a contract. If they really like you and they can't pay the money, they'll franchise tag you. And then as soon as you get hurt, they'll either cut you or trade you off somewhere else. Right. So I think this is a monumental moment for the NFL or the players of the NFL. I would like him to go to the 49ers. I all in, absolutely. He's a top 5 QB in the league today. So those don't come, and he's in the prime of his career. Where he most likely would end up, probably the Jets. They have the Jets and or the Dolphins. I'm leaning more of the Jets if I'm looking, just because my experience is hearing, watching the 49ers and seeing how the players respond to Coach Saleh. He can be one of those coaches that, like Jimmy Johnson, that can form that bubble and keep upper management away from the players. So I think he ends up in the Jets, number 1. Number 2, obviously, will be the Miami Dolphins. Besides those 2 teams, I wouldn't want him to. I know if I'm him, I wouldn't want to go anywhere else. I wouldn't want to go to New England. Damn sure I don't want to go to Detroit. Or anywhere else, but as far as teams that are needing a quarterback. So I want him to go to 49ers. We need him in the 49ers. If we do, that means we're right back in the discussion of things as far as Super Bowl hunt. And then again, you can almost say the same thing about Miami or the Jets, not the Jets, but Miami too, because they already have a complete defense and complete offense and with weapons around him and plenty of cap space. So that's where I think he's going to end up. And once he I don't know if he'll be the first domino to fall. I think Stafford might be really the first one to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was interesting you mentioned that, and I wanted to kind of throw this caveat out there as we're talking about this. A couple things that you think about this situation. What team should not be calling the Texans about Deshaun Watson? Because it seems like it's overwhelming. Every team should be calling, but which teams, if you're just thinking about the scope of or the scape of the league right now, which team should not be calling the Texans about Deshaun Watson?
Should not be calling?
Should not be calling. I would say definitely obviously Kansas City is at the top of the list.
Anybody that's in playoff in a playoff contention or projected to be ahead of their head of the division, that's a hard one to answer. I really don't know.
Yeah, just kind of looking at kind of where the league is right now. I think obviously Kansas City won't be calling.
Green Bay won't be calling.
Yeah,
if I'm Minnesota, I'm making that call.
Minnesota should be calling absolutely. I mean, listen, Kirk Cousins is not your long-term answer, so Minnesota should absolutely be calling.
He wasn't their short-term answer either. So.
Well, yeah, no, they screwed
up. I think Arizona shouldn't call them. I think they're good where they're at.
Yeah. Well, they're saying that Arizona might be interested.
Really?
They're saying Arizona might be interested.
Wait till the phone call.
Obviously Kansas City's not calling. Seattle, I would say Seattle's not calling, but it wouldn't shock me if they at least do an inquiry.
Seattle ain't calling. They just paid Russell Wilson a king's ransom. He ain't going
to they did, but again, if you got an opportunity, and I just think about the teams that don't have quarterbacks that are 25 and under. And again, Deshaun Watson's 25. He'll be 26 when the season starts, but he's 25 years old. If you got a quarterback in his 30s who, again, nothing against 30-year-old quarterbacks, but you get to extend the life of your quarterback play by getting Deshaun Watson, I think there may be 4 teams that should not call. I think Kansas City should not call. Buffalo should not call. The Bengals shouldn't call, and the Chargers shouldn't call. I think every other team should be at least called.
So you think? What about you think Tampa Bay should be calling?
The quarterback 44 years gonna be 44 years old when the season starts next year.
In the Super Bowl though.
He's 44.
Yeah.
I mean,
I tell you where he could go. New Orleans is is interesting because I'm not sure if they're going to have if New Orleans has that much confidence in Jameis. I want Jameis to be the starting quarterback of New Orleans.
Yeah, New Orleans.
Taysom Hill seems like he is the golden child, but I think Deshaun Watson would fit perfectly with that team. I
mean, Deshaun Watson with Sean Payton could be very similar to Patrick Mahomes with Andy Reid.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's not going to happen though because it's just, we could just. I would love to see him down in Indianapolis.
Well, so let's. I think we could cross any team in the AFC South off the list.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so
that's why I didn't really want to say it.
Yeah. Colts, Titans, and Jaguars can forget about it.
But again, like I bring up before, Brett Favre wound up playing in his own division.
Right, but he had to go to the Jets first.
But you saying they won't trade to the Jaguars?
No.
Hell no. If Jaguars call him, it'll be a waste of a phone call. He wouldn't go.
I don't think.
Whoa. Stop. So you're saying that the Texans, who have no draft capital whatsoever,
right?
They wouldn't trade Deshaun Watson to a bubbling team with a new coach, new system, and you get a brand new rookie quarterback who has been sunshine since he was in high school. That's what you're telling me.
They won't trade him because, again, if their job is to try to compete for the division every year, try to win the division every year, you're not trading him to a team that can keep you from winning the division every year.
Right. So they can't win the division next year. Right?
Right, yeah. But think about it. Just at Deshaun at 26, let's presume he's got another 10 good years in him, right? Easily. You're talking about basically you got to fight this guy twice a year, every year for the division for the next 10 years.
I don't think he's gonna let. I don't think he'll be 10 years.
You just can't discount if the Jaguars are willing to trade the number 1 draft pick in the NFL, which is going to be Trevor Lawrence, and give some draft capital behind that. You're telling me you wouldn't make that deal as a Houston Texans GM?
I think again, I think the issue is again for the Texans, they want to. If you were, and I'm not comparing Deshaun Watson to this guy, but if you notice when teams trade stars, they tend to not keep them in the division. They try to get them out of the division if all possible.
I'm tracking that. I'm tracking.
So even if you're talking about getting a bunch of draft capital, and again, think about it, right? If Deshaun Watson goes to Jacksonville and they make a couple other moves, they're talking about being a 10, 11 win team just based on a couple moves with some of the young talent they have. So you're talking about lower first round picks for the next few years. So for me, I wouldn't want to deal. I would have to think about it from that perspective. Wherever you trade him, again, it's either avoid him as much as possible or trade him somewhere where you don't think. And again, he's got control because he's got no trade clause, which was the smartest thing he could have done. You trade him somewhere where you think it could work or it could bust. But
J-Mac, you're a Texans GM. As of right now, with Deshaun Watson, do you think you guys will win the division next year?
No.
Okay. Do you think with Deshaun Watson, with the next 3 years, you can win the division? I understand you don't have any draft capital. You got J.J. Watt. You're not trading away.
So,
whoa. This is J-Mac. Yeah, I got you, baby. I got you, Sean. Come back to you, brother. J-Mac. So you're telling me that if I'm offering you the first round draft pick of future, which is the number 1 draft pick, or the number 1 draft pick, who is Trevor Lawrence, who's been on the national stage for the last 3 years, who's won a championship. I throw in a couple draft picks, some future draft picks too. You're not making that deal.
I'm making that deal.
You can't win the division next year.
I'm making that deal.
2 years you can't make.
I'm making that deal. I'm making that deal because number 1, you got a new coach, and you got Trevor Lawrence, which I believe is an NFL quarterback, hands down. And with draft picks, you can improve that line, which you heavily need to do.
Which this year has some pretty good lineman pick in it.
Yeah. I'm making that deal. I just don't know how many years does he have left on his deal, Deshaun Watson.
So technically 5 because he signed a 4-year extension and he's planning on.
I'm making that deal. Absolutely.
But again, this is why I think these GMs have to play the long game. The long game is you want to put yourself in the position to win the division. You're going to trade a guy who literally can keep you from winning the division the next 10 years in the division. That doesn't make sense.
Well, if he goes to Minnesota ain't gonna win nothing.
That's what I'm saying. Minnesota is different because the Houston.
I mean, not Minnesota. Jacksonville.
What I'm saying, think about it. Well, go ahead. Go ahead, Cisco. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. You said they're not going to win in Jacksonville?
I don't believe so.
With Deshaun Watson?
I don't believe so.
With Watson? That's
because you're a Colts fan? That sounds like some Colts fan shit right there.
Yeah, I know. That does kind of feel like some Colts fans.
I ain't gonna lie. If he went to Jacksonville, I will be mad.
If he went to Jacksonville, I'll be mad. Give it
in Indianapolis. Indianapolis is built to win now. Titans are built to win now.
But
I don't see with Deshaun Watson staying in Texas that they have any opportunity to win the division within the next 3 years.
Let me ask you a question. Is Deshaun Watson the best quarterback in that division?
In the division full of no quarterbacks? Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And the gap is pretty wide, right?
Okay.
So
I agree. I don't disagree with that statement.
Okay. So if you trade the best quarterback in the division, within the division, regardless of who you get to replace them, and again, we think Trevor Lawrence may be that guy. We don't know. You're saying, as the Texans, listen, we think we're going to build a team good enough that can defeat the best quarterback in the division So we're giving ourselves within the next couple of years, 2 or 3 years, a chance to win the division.
You guys cannot beat. I shouldn't say you guys. I'm sorry. That's right. The Texans cannot. Yeah. If you're the GM, I'm looking at you. If I'm the owner, like, we can't beat the Texans and the Colts right now, and the Colts have the worst all-time quote-unquote great quarterback. I wouldn't call it, but or they had Philip Rivers. They couldn't beat him. Maybe they split. I can't remember the record against them. Maybe they split. I don't know.
Right.
What I'm just saying though is that if I'm the GM or the owner, and I'm talking to my GMs, if J Mac and you are my GM, I'm gonna ask you a serious questions. Can we win with Deshaun Watson in the next 3 years? Because either way, you're gonna have to build through the draft, right? And let's just say you guys, there's, you have a 7-9 year or 9-7 year or maybe even 10-6 year or something like that, something to that extent. But there's no way you're going to tell me that if you believe that you can win in the next 3 years, okay, I got you. But if you can't win within the next 3 years, you're not making that deal to get some draft capital. Because who else besides the Jets can do that?
Miami.
And they got one other too. Yeah, absolutely.
If he went to Miami, it'd be scary, bro.
Miami.
So I got you.
Yeah.
But either way, if you keep in the AFC, you're gonna face them, right? So I get your point. Miami.
Yeah, I'm just saying if you got your choice, if I have my choice, and again, they don't have a choice because Deshaun Watson really holds the cards with no trade clause.
Right.
I want him out of the conference. I don't even want him in the conference.
But Miami so far, and maybe they're just saying just to say it that they they're really, the coach is really into, what's his name?
Tua. Well, I mean, yeah, he's got to say that because again,
he drafted him.
You don't want to devalue him publicly.
Got it.
But
then again, at the same time, if I'm Miami and I have the number 3 draft pick, why do I need Deshaun Watson?
Well, I'm saying if you got the number 3 pick, you got number 3 pick from the Texans in the trade for Laramie Tunsil. That's why you have their first and second round this year. Yeah.
But if I can get Justin Fields, because I know Justin Fields.
But again, and this is where if you're Miami and you're saying, listen, Miami, basically was close to making the playoffs this year, up until the last part of the season. They can take that division, and again, Josh Allen right now, if you're looking at the division right now, Josh Allen is the best quarterback in that division. If you get Deshaun Watson, is anybody saying Josh Allen is appreciably better than Deshaun Watson? I think anybody who were doing a ranking would say Deshaun Watson is better than Josh Allen. And all things being equal, it would make Miami the favorite to win that division. But not even win that division, but possibly be the one team that can match the the Chiefs.
So they match them. So yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that going to Miami, like, nothing is certain, right? So I
of course,
right?
Of course.
But Miami may not be as quick to call.
I don't think Miami's as quick to call because again they just invested a first round pick in Tua.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at their capital, they got the 3rd pick, they got the 18th pick. They still have Tua, who's going into his 2nd year, which means he's got another 3 years on his rookie deal before his 5th year option, who was a 1st round pick. They got draft capital. They got 2 second round picks this year. They got draft capital next year. They are really in the best position to take a great deal of their draft capital along with Tua to send to Houston for Deshaun Watson.
Don't disagree. I don't disagree. But all I'm saying, I don't disagree. But the initial point was, if Jacksonville calls.
Yeah, I'm saying if Jacksonville calls and because
you got to consider that, right?
Here's the other side from Jacksonville's standpoint. Yeah, you may be getting Deshaun Watson, but how much do you want to help a division rival with a bunch of draft capital when they have none? I don't think that benefits you in any way. If you're Jacksonville,
no, it doesn't. Yeah. But the no trade clause, we're not taking in consideration how important that no trade clause.
Oh yeah, that's everything.
Very, very key. So I haven't heard anything about Deshaun Watson desiring to play in the cold up there with the Jets. A lot of people are talking about the Jets because the Jets need him.
The Jets need him.
But I don't see him. Yeah. I don't see him going to the Jets. I just don't see it. Now he could go to the Jets for outside of football reasons,
right?
If that's on his agenda. But just strictly football, look, Deshaun Watson has had 3 knee surgeries. He's had knee issues from high school.
Right.
ACL, towards ACL in high school, towards ACL in college. I don't.
He tore his rookie year in the NFL.
And in the NFL.
Right. Yeah.
So longevity. I'm thinking 4 years of still being able to escape the pocket, get out. But he can throw those, so he can lay.
Anyway, question: how long did Frank Gore play after tearing up both his knees?
Frank Gore is a running back.
And think about how much those guys have to cut and move on those knees. Like I don't think it's as big a deal for a quarterback as it is a running back. And Frank Gore is improved.
But Frank Gore is a North and South player. Deshaun Watson, he's going to have to, he's moving around.
Yeah, but I mean, and you could be a North-South player. You still got to make guys miss east to west.
You got to have some lateral movement, right? But I mean, how many Frank Gores are there? I mean, Frank Gore can probably play till he's 60 years old.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Matter of fact, I wouldn't mind him signing one year with the 49ers, just to retire a 49er. I wouldn't mind that. I've talked to a couple of my 49 brethren, and they're the same cloth, saying, "Hey, look, bring back at least Frank Gore for one last year."
Yeah,
and at the end of the day, Deshaun Watson, if you're listening, if you're watching, which I know you are not, come on to the West Coast.
You never know.
Come on to the West Coast.
Yeah.
It's even though there's a mass exodus out of California, just come on. Join a winning franchise. All the franchises we're talking about, how many Super Bowls have they won? Exactly.
So I just want to say that is smart. Coming from a no-income tax state, go to another no-income tax state and go to Miami. It's Miami.
Winning.
No.
The Dolphins have one shit. The Jets have one shit.
No, and again, I get that. But if you're Deshaun Watson and you look at what they did last year without you, adding Deshaun Watson probably adds 3 or 4 more wins to that Dolphins team. They could be a 14-2 team with Deshaun Watson.
Don't disagree, but it's not California. Well, that's Miami.
It's Miami.
Fucking Miami.
Yeah, no state income tax.
Hey, I got you.
Yeah.
But how many? You act like the Dolphins are the creme de la creme when it comes to winning franchises.
No, I'm not suggesting that they are. I'm just saying based on what they've done the last couple of years with Brian Flores, with Chris Greer, the general manager, with Stephen Ross, the owner, who's willing to spend and who's willing to let his people do their job. It would seem to be, and again, not saying that this is the complete reason why Deshaun Watson is looking at certain teams, but I think he's going to look at organizational structure and then say, listen, this is the one team that has both a black head coach and a black GM running things. It just seems like Miami might be very, very appealing to him. And again,
I get you. And if you're a Miami Dolphins representative, you're doing a great fucking job. But all I gotta do is say 2 words.
Of course.
Los Angeles, LA, come on. We got you. I'm not even from California. I'm not even from LA. But hey, we got the stars, we got Hollywood, movie deals, crackheads, we got it all.
Yeah, they got the same thing in Miami,
Deshaun Watson, if you listening, don't listen to either one of them fools.
Don't go to the Colts. Go to Indiana.
Come to Indianapolis, man. It's easy. It's easy living, man. Think about it. If you go to Miami, right now, it's COVID. So, it doesn't benefit you to go to Miami. It just don't. It don't benefit you to go to LA. Too much COVID going on out there.
Listen to what Kevin Durant did. Look at what Kevin Durant did. He invested in some big tech companies. It's there for you. You want big tech? We're there. San Francisco, beautiful city. Overcrowded? Yes, it is. But just like any city, like Miami, the only city that's not overcrowded is Indiana, and it's cold.
Right.
And they haven't won anything since Peyton Manning left. So
yeah. Well, I just want to say again, if you look at the structure of the situation, and it's Miami, and that division is very winnable, with you there, you go to Miami. You do everything you can to get to Miami.
Yeah, you say very winnable, but okay. I mean, the Bills, they're pretty good.
Yeah. All right. Well, the Bills are good. Listen, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. But Deshaun Watson makes the Dolphins the favorite in that division. And again, I think Deshaun Watson makes them the second best team in the AFC if he goes there.
Agreed. I ain't gonna disagree with that.
Yeah.
But don't go.
Yeah. So we got to talk Matt Stafford because apparently the Lions and Matt Stafford are trying to work out a deal for him to go to the LA Rams.
I like it.
Well, it depends on who you ask. If you Jared Goff, it's like, hey, hold up, homeboy. You just extended my contract.
Right.
We just went to the Super Bowl. I just came in with thumb surgery to win a playoff game. What else do you want me to do?
They don't like him. They don't know. They don't respect him. Anytime you wind up, I mean, to me, I think Jared Goff is their quarterback. He should stay their quarterback. He's good enough to get it done. But if you're constantly in the news every year about somebody replacing you, they don't respect you. They don't like you. They're looking for someone else to come in and take that. But I don't think Stafford is the person, though. Stafford needs like 6 Hall of Fame wide receivers to play with. He needs receivers. He needs a 5 receiver set and just sling the ball all over the field. He doesn't like running games. He just wants to throw the ball 50 times a game.
That's not true because he said, or somebody said, or I saw a report somewhere that the 49ers are high on this list. Number 2 is the Rams, I think, but the Stafford, 49ers.
I think he's looking at those systems and seeing, with his arm talent, because I don't think anybody would dispute his arm talent, and what those coaches, Shanahan and McVay, do from a play design standpoint.
Yeah.
I think that's why he's interested in those 2 places. Personally, if I were him, I'd go to San Francisco. Just because I trust Kyle Shanahan a little bit more than Sean McVay. Nothing against Sean McVay.
But we managed to beat him no matter what quarterback we have.
Right. So.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. They always just whoop their ass.
They always give the Niners, or excuse me, they always give the Rams the business for whatever reason.
Is Nash.
So I think the 49ers are better set. And also, if I look at the Niners with that defensive talent coming back next year, because they had a lot of guys hurt. They got some really young, talented receivers with Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk and Kendrick Bourne and
let's not mention Kendrick Bourne.
Well, listen, I'm just saying I think he's a solid receiver. I think he's a solid young receiver, but
solid as water.
Yeah, and again, the Niners aren't in the same cap situation that the Rams are, so I don't know how much more the Rams will be able to upgrade their roster, given some of their dead cap issues over the next couple of years. So
the offensive line worries me too.
The Rams.
Yeah, the run game is solid, but is Whitworth isn't he retiring this year, or he hasn't mentioned anything yet?
Whitworth.
Yeah, he's like in his 14th year, 13th year.
He's like in his 17th year.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
he's like one chair away from being a fucking cripple.
Yeah, so he may or may not come back, but yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what ultimately happens with him. And then obviously, I think we're going to see some serious musical chairs at quarterback. They've been talking about Dallas possibly trading Dak to get
Brett Favre might not be there in Green Bay, but I think it's one more year.
Aaron, you meant
Aaron Rodgers.
You said Brett Favre.
I mean Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, man, you went back.
I went way back.
He went way back. Back time.
Yeah. You listen to some No Limit over there? You taking it back?
Hey, he was listening to some Blackstreet, homie.
About 30 minutes ago, I was listening to some No Limit.
Okay, that's why that flashback. Okay,
Bar, MJG, No Limit. Oh, I had a little playlist going crazy.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Don't get me started, man. I might drop a line or so.
That's fine. I'm the Colonel Tank. Okay, all right. Yeah. All right. Shout out Master P. But no. I mean, I think we're gonna see some serious quarterback musical chairs here in this off season. Obviously Big Ben. With his cap number, I think they'll work it out with him in Pittsburgh. But you never know. And then obviously waiting for Drew Brees to make his announcement. Which just question for y'all: Do y'all think there's a chance Drew Brees comes back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
There's a chance. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you were assigning a percentage to the chance, what would that be?
50-50.
I say 75%. I think there is a chance he comes back one more year. I just do.
Depends on him, man. He's like
he shouldn't. He shouldn't, but I think he will. I think there's a chance he will.
I hope he doesn't.
That's Sean Payton. That's Sean Payton. Matter of fact, that's a scene from Any Given Sunday.
Yeah.
Trying to get Cap to come back one more time.
Yeah. I think most Saints fans are sick of the Sean Payton Drew Brees love affair, and they ready for it to end. It's like General Hospital with them. They ready for it to end.
They having dinner right now talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Luke and Laura. But yeah, I think they're ready for it. They ready for that to end.
They sitting there trying to discuss it now over shrimp po' boys.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's very good actually. Yeah.
Every time I go to New Orleans, that's what I get.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think they're ready for it to end. But I'm almost certain we're not going to see. Well, let me ask y'all, just in y'all's opinion, who's the first quarterback domino to fall?
I believe Stafford is because I believe Stafford is. I do.
Right.
I think he both parties are ready for the split, and it's not that hard to find something for him for the next 2 years. If you can't land in San Francisco, then he can land Dallas. If he doesn't land San Francisco, he'll probably go to LA Rams. There's suitors right there ready for him to go to, and those are not really, and those teams are not really high on Deshaun Watson's list. Maybe the Jets, but I don't think the Jets want him. There's no point.
I would say the Colts should be the team.
The Colts should be hello.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we called him last week.
Yeah. I mean, the Colts' only quarterback under contract is Jacob Eason, and nobody thinks he's ready to start. So, and I don't think they're picking high enough to get, one of the top 4 quarterbacks unless they're trading up. So it would seem like they should be the team. And again, look at their team, how their team is built. What are they missing, besides the left tackle now? With that defense and those running backs and those young receivers, they're
missing the quarterback.
And they're missing the quarterback, exactly. And if you look at their
quarterback, they beat the Bills.
And again, if you look at their division, I mean, Houston's about to fall off. Jacksonville's, who knows what Urban Meyer is going to do, which again we'll talk about in a moment. And really, the only team in that division is Tennessee. But again, does anybody think Ryan Tannehill is going to get better, and Tennessee's going to get appreciably better? So I think he's just looking at the division. It seems like the Colts would make the most sense for him if he's trying to win sooner than later.
Yeah, the Colts are probably the best fit for Matt Stafford, no doubt.
I like him in Dallas. To be honest.
Yeah.
If he goes to Dallas, he's going to end up being Philip Rivers.
Mm.
If I were him, I'd avoid Dallas at all.
I'll avoid Dallas at all costs.
Mm.
Well, so here's the thing. It would have to be some kind of. Hey, who are you going to bring on the defensive side? Because we already know the offensive side of the ball is mostly taken care of.
Right.
They got an O-line. They got to make some adjustments to the O-line, but it's not really that hard to bring people to the Cowboys. Yeah. Tax-free state. You're the biggest brand in the NFL, which is the biggest in America per se.
Right.
So that's not hard. I'll be like, hey man, who y'all bringing in? If you ship Prescott off, then you're able to save money. You can put some money in on the offensive line and in that defensive secondary.
and they hired
division is extremely winnable.
Let's say he goes to San Francisco. I mean, not San Francisco. The Rams.
Right.
The Rams. Right. What do you do with Jared Goff?
He's on Detroit.
Yep.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, it's like, he was.
I'll be something.
Any one of those quarterbacks could wind up in Detroit.
Yeah, he would basically be Blake Griffin 2.0. He would literally go to Detroit for his career to die.
Yeah.
I think Jimmy G's gonna end up in New England. But
although I will say Detroit, I thought made a good hire hiring Anthony Lynn as the offensive coordinator. But
Anthony Lynn.
Speaking of New England, Deshaun Watson could wind up in New England.
I would avoid doing that at all costs.
I don't see the Patriots doing that. They don't give up draft cap as much draft capital as it would take. I just don't see them doing it.
Well, they did hire their GM.
Yeah. And
I don't know why Houston's so involved with plucking off the Belichick tree. That has to be the most rotten fruit there is.
Yeah, there's a lot to that. I just think there's people who just look at the Patriots as a standard the last 20 years and think if we get a piece of that, we got a chance.
That's bullshit.
It is absolute BS. Yeah, it's absolute BS.
Ask Detroit.
Asking any team that's hired a Patriots head coach. Stay for Miami with Flores.
Well, you did have Denver. Didn't they have
Josh McDaniels?
Yeah,
that was 8 game. Yeah, that was not a good hire. I think they're still paying for that. He's the reason why they drafted him.
How old is Fangio? Fangio's what, 65 or 100? 105? Yeah, he's about right there.
He might be somewhere in between the two.
100, 105? Yeah, I think about 103.
Yeah,
he's and plus he's gonna be on the hot seat. They haven't won anything at all. John Elway stepping down. They do have good pieces around him, but I don't think he goes to Denver. Depends on what you want for caking. I would go to Colorado.
Crazy thing is, John Elway didn't step down. He technically
Colorado's pretty appeasing right now.
Yeah.
I got a partner in Colorado, and he I can't stay on the phone with him too long. I get a little jealous, just a little bit.
A wee bit.
Right.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, the contact coming through the phone.
Yeah, a little bit, man.
Oh, okay. All right. Got it.
Oh
yeah.
My head's spinning now from it.
There goes one sponsor.
Yeah.
Enter another.
Yeah. This segment is brought to you by no one. Well, yeah.
You start seeing like weed mats pop up. It's like, oh shit, here we go.
Yeah, so
I would accept that sponsorship.
Yeah. Hey, just real quick before we move on from this topic, y'all see any outside opportunities for a quarterback? Nobody's talking about moving.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was asking, do y'all see any other possibilities of outside that no one's talking about of a quarterback moving on from his team this offseason?
Besides Sam Bradford? That's Sam Bradford for the QB for the Jets.
Oh, Sam Darnold.
Sorry, when I say Bradford, holy fuck. Whatever you got, and then jumped through the internet and then came through my microphone and got me fucking foggy.
I told you, man. Every time you say Colorado, that's what happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sam Darnold. Yeah. So I think Sam Darnold. Well, obviously, if any one of those guys go there, he's going to be a trade piece.
Yeah, it's just I don't know what the Jets can get for Darnold. That's the problem.
I like Sam Darnold. I don't understand the misgivings about him. I mean, he had
I like him too. I think the problem is, again, he's only The Jets haven't picked up his 5th-year option yet. Again, I think they're trying to make that decision. But if you trade for him and they pick up his 5th-year option, you only got 2 years of him under contract. So, and that second year is going to be at a pretty decent cap number because he was the 3rd pick. So I just don't know if you're a team, what are you giving up for basically a year of Sam Darnold?
Well, I mean, if he goes to the Colts, bro, I mean, that's a great year. That's gonna be some ooh-wee.
Nah, he can. You don't need to go there, man.
You don't want him in Indiana?
No, I don't. I told you I won't, man.
You're not getting Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, bro.
Well, I won't Stafford.
Jacksonville ain't getting them. You definitely.
Stafford makes more sense.
Yeah, that won't Stafford.
It makes a lot more sense. Yeah, Stafford makes
I
perfect.
thought you were talking about Bradford.
No, you're saying No, Sam Bradford. No, Sam Bradford's not even in the league no more. We're talking Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold. I told you.
Hey man,
I told you. There it was.
Good, man.
There it is.
Coming through my microphone and everything, man. I don't know what's going on.
Y'all got
blame
you. Out there. Get a fan in there or something. Get that stuff out there.
Let me check my pupils. No, they white.
Yeah.
He just did that. That's funny.
Yeah. Get that stuff out of there, man. Get a fan in there or something.
Hey man, I'm unfiltered, man.
Yeah,
me and Sean catching contact.
Yeah, it's fine. No, you think just think about if you got Darnold, and you the Jets. I mean, I just don't see what a team's going to give up to get him.
You wouldn't. You don't need that much, right? Maybe special draft. Maybe another 1st-round draft pick.
Yeah, but no, I don't think a team's giving up a 1st-round pick for Darnold.
Maybe not top 10, or definitely not top 10, but bottom 15.
No, I just don't. The problem is Cisco, and the only reason why I say they're not doing that is because when you trade a 1st-round pick, you're basically trading an opportunity to have a guy on a team-friendly deal for 4 years before you pick up their 5th-year option. So go ahead.
Look at the Colts, though. But the Colts, they drafted number 18?
21. Yeah, again.
21?
Yeah, 21.
To me, that's I make that deal.
If I'm the coach,
because you're not getting anything else. There's nothing in there that's you're set on pretty much both sides of the ball with a few moves here and there, but you can make that up in the other rounds.
I'd probably, if I were the Colts, I wouldn't give anything more than maybe a conditional 3rd-round pick, and it's only because again I'm looking at it from the standpoint of if you're trading for Sam Bradford, you only got him for a year, maybe 2. Darnold, I'm sorry, God dog it you all. If you're trading for Sam Darnold, you only got him for 2 years under contract. And again, that 2nd year is going to be at a great expense to your cap. So I just don't see a team saying, listen, we're going to give up a 1st-round pick when we can have a guy for 4 years on a friendly deal and then, see if we pick up his 5th-year option. I just don't see a team doing that.
Okay, so
if you had more time, then maybe, but yeah, I don't see a team doing that.
I mean, but the Jets are not really pressed for a draft pick, right? They're not pressed for that. Second, third round draft pick. Okay, I make that deal.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I'm a team and the Jets say, hey, we're willing to move Bradford, I say, okay, I'll give you a conditional 3rd round. God, fuck it.
Come on, finalizer, CEO.
I think that Indian on his shirt is high. I think that's what it is. The Indian on his Florida State shirt is high.
It's a Seminole.
Is that not Native American?
It's a Native American, not an Indian. Native American. That's not. We're not
American Indian.
Yeah, no. That's fine.
Okay.
Here's the question: are American Indians really from India?
What?
See, that's what happens when you start talking about Sam Darnold. He's really a 30-second topic.
Right.
I'm sitting here thinking about shrimp po' boys and red eyes and
See, here on U3 Sports, you never know where the conversation is going to go. That's the thing about U3 Sports, and we hope that for those who are watching that you did like, click, and subscribe because you never know where things may go.
Especially when it comes to remembering names.
Exactly. Somebody said Bradford, and we can't get Bradford out of our heads. And again, just so I think about the Bradford deal. So Philly traded Bradford to Minnesota for a first-round pick because Minnesota was desperate. I just don't know if a team is going to be that desperate for a quarterback that they're going to be trade. They're going to trade Darnold out of the Jets for a first-rounder.
Well, yeah, but so like I said, outside. Keep it back to your original question. Outside QBs on the outside of the current carousel that could be possibly moving. I think Sam Darnold is definitely a possibility. Jimmy G, obviously they're looking to ship off him. Obviously the Rams are not satisfied with Jared Goff, which is mind-boggling to me because he hasn't been a bad quarterback. He's been above average. He's gotten you to the Super Bowl. Schemed in there. He has a great arm. He's just not as mobile as people may want him to be.
Let me ask you a question, Cisco and J-Mac, just on
don't have me defend Jared Goff, bro.
No, it's not that. I just in the time that you watched Jared Goff in the last now 5 years, do you see Jared Goff getting appreciably better? Or is he kind of is what he is?
No, he is.
Yeah, because in that position, you gain more experience. So yeah, I think he'll get better. He'll be able to recognize more defenses. So yeah, I mean, honestly, do you think Patrick Mahomes can get any better? Honestly,
crazy enough, yeah, I think he can, which is crazy.
So you think he can get better with his physical attributes and his throwing arm?
I mean,
his instincts get better.
You said what?
His instincts can get a little better.
Yeah. With Jared Goff too. Everything between. I think from the neck up, they both have room to improve, right? So yeah, I think they'll get better in that sense.
Right. But, yeah, and I think maybe they realize, and again, like you said, Cisco, you can win with a B+ quarterback. You don't necessarily need an A+ quarterback to win football games. Right. You can win with a B+ quarterback. But when I hear things about Jared Goff,
a la Jimmy G.
Right, exactly. But when I hear things about Jared Goff, like, listen, Sean McVay's in his ear when he's at the line of scrimmage up until 15 seconds left on the play clock, telling him where to go with the football, that's scary.
Yeah, you can't do that.
That scares me.
Who should say he won't do it with any other quarterback? Because he does it, he had to do it with all his quarterbacks.
To your point, then he can get better because if he goes somewhere else and plays for another coach more freely, more confident in his own abilities, then he can get better that way. But if he's sitting there playing, being a robot, and McVay is the remote control, I don't see that consistent. I don't see him consistently going up with that same team, which is why he's in the talks now, because It's probably one of those things where McVay is telling him this and he's just not getting it.
Right. And again, I think that's and again, I don't want to compare McVay to John Gruden, but I think they're kind of cut from the same cloth. If they see a potential upgraded quarterback, they're going to go for it because that's just who they are. So it wouldn't shock me if he made a decision to go out and try to upgrade, the quarterback position.
Yeah. Hey, I don't like the Rams anyway, so who cares?
Yeah. I don't like the Colts either.
That's your problem. That's.
No, I think that's like 90%. I think that's 90% of America that doesn't like the Colts.
Well, 90% of America right 90%. Now during the pandemic.
America has 300 million people plus. 90%
right now during the pandemic, Joe Biden did sign something where if you want to go get free mental health, you can go get free mental health.
I guarantee we can ask 15 Americans right now if they are fans of the Colts. They'll probably say no.
Well, that's good. I'm in the 14.9% of people getting it right. I don't want to be like everybody else.
I don't know how to respond to that. That's the next topic.
Okay, moving on. Obviously, the last head coaching vacancy was filled yesterday with David Cullen, Baltimore Ravens, getting the head coaching job in Houston. Obviously, we had 7 head coaching openings. And Cisco, I want to come to you on this first. Who do you feel? Obviously, it's too early to judge to say this guy's gonna be great versus not. But who do you feel who you feel got the best head coach, so far, and who do you feel went to the best position to have some success, short and long term? You're on mute, Cisco.
I think Rob Saleh went to. I view Rob Saleh as if same way I view Jimmy Johnson. Right. I really do. I think he came in there with the understanding, say, "Hey, look, I'm great at defense. I'm not great at offense, but my intent is not to be calling plays. I am the CEO of this team. I'm going to make this team. I'm going to put a vision out there, and my role is to drive that train there and bring everybody with me." So I think he made the right choice. I think once again he can create that bubble to where he can, how Jimmy Johnson kept Jerry Jones for as long as he could out of the locker room, and he did the same thing in Miami as well. I think Rob Saleh is that guy, and he's easy to rally around. By the way, Richard Sherman did put out there. He said, "Hey, Deshaun Watson should go to the Jets and go play for Rob Saleh." So I think he's the best hire for that franchise to give him stability, give him purpose and direction, and to I said purpose and direction. Yeah, and he can win games. Yeah. I think he's gonna be situationally. He's gonna be grounded. He understands football, so I like him. I like that. To me, that's the best hire so far.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the last. I mean, there are no openings left, unless somebody gets fired unexpectedly in March. Like the Bucs did a few years ago with Lovie Smith, but that's neither here nor there. It wasn't March, but it was much later after the, whatever. Anyway, and then for you, you like Saleh. I'm with you. I like Saleh. I think Saleh was the best hire. I thought there were teams who should have gone and fought harder to get him, but that's neither here nor there. For you though, just looking right off, who's the most questionable hire?
Sully from the Ravens. Sully to the Texans is that. I didn't understand the tire. Was Sully, right?
Cully.
Cully, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Yeah, I think that was the worst hire. And then number one, there's 1A and there's 1B. Old boy from Detroit. Oh my God, I forgot who was great. What's his name?
Matt Campbell.
Yeah, horrible.
Yeah. I have to tell you, for me, it was definitely Campbell. But number one on the list for me was Urban Meyer in Jacksonville.
You just don't like him?
No, it's not that. I think Urban Meyer is a really good football coach. The only reason why I have serious questions about the hire is, when you hire a head coach, particularly nowadays, you're looking for a guy who's more of a long-term fit. And if you're Jacksonville, and the way I view it, and if you look at the teams that have had success, they tend to tie the head coach hire with the quarterback. So if you're Jacksonville, you got the number one pick, and you're obviously going to take Trevor Lawrence. You want to have a head coach who's going to be with Trevor Lawrence at least for the better part of his career. That's not Urban Meyer.
Yeah, but so I did that because obviously he's had a recent history of just giving up and quitting. So I get that part, but if you compare it's been said that if you compare the college coach schedule to the NFL coach schedule, the NFL coach schedule is a little bit lighter than it is on the than it is on the is easier on the actual coach itself. So that's number that's something to be considered. Two, he's back in Jacksonville. He's in Florida, or he's working there, so he won't be far from home. So I understand that, and if he does, as long as he picks the right coordinators, I think that would make that transition you're talking about a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, he got Joe Cullen, the defensive line coach from Baltimore, to be the defensive coordinator, which again I think is a solid move. Again for me, I thought Robert Saleh would have been the better hire for them, particularly because he was there as the linebackers coach before he went to San Francisco to be the defensive coordinator. So it's not like he doesn't know the city; he knows the organization. And again, I look at him as a Mike Tomlin type hire. You hire him, he's probably going to be your head coach for the next 15 to 20 years because he's that good. And he's still a young guy, energetic, and you want to tie him to, again, the guy you're taking number one overall, presuming he's going to be your quarterback for the next 15 years. So you tie those two guys at the hip. That's why I would have been more.
But you can't deny Urban Meyer's success with quarterbacks. You can't deny that. Right.
Yeah, listen, I don't think anybody would deny that. And again, Urban Meyer. I'm not saying Urban Meyer is a terrible football coach or anything like that. I just look at it from an organization. Urban Meyer is Jacksonville's 6th head coach in 25 years. That doesn't scream organizational stability. Like, it just doesn't. Like, they are a team that needed someone to hire someone who could give them some long-term organizational stability. And just Urban Meyer's track record, and again, if he's the Jaguars coach more than 4 years, I'd be shocked. I'd be real. And then you're talking about. Go ahead.
If he, 4 years, I got you 4 or 5 years. I agree. I don't see him going. I don't see him going past 5 years at all.
No.
But like I said before, it depends on how he adapts to the NFL schedule. There's no college recruiting. He's familiar, and all the young players are familiar with him as well. He's had great success throughout his career. It's hard to bet against him in that situation. Yeah. And he seemingly knows how to pick his staff correctly to create that environment to where it is successful. So I hear what you're saying. It's not a bad hire. It's not the worst hire for me. I think it was a relatively great hire. We haven't talked about Deshaun Watson going to the Washington football team either.
Yeah, I don't know if Washington has the capital to give the Texans. The reason I think why you talk about the Jets and the Dolphins, obviously, because they both have 2 first-round picks,
right.
and additional second-round picks. So, and again, both of them have a young quarterback they can trade as a part of the deal to the Texans. So, yeah, that's why I think nobody's really talking about Washington. But I would say Washington definitely is going to be an outside runner for Matt Stafford.
Yeah, if I'm Matt Stafford, they're definitely higher on my list than the Cowgirls.
Oh, they should be, without question.
Yeah. Because Cowboys suck.
Yeah,
and
well,
I love it when the Cowboys suck.
Yeah, I think every non-Cowboys fan loves that. So,
which is 90% of the nation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe 88, but there's a lot of Cowboys fans out here. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but there's a lot of Cowboys fans out here.
Oh yeah.
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 Still riding off the 90s. Yeah. So, J Mac, just want to come to you real quick. Who did you think was the best NFL head coaching hire this offseason thus far? You're on mute.
To be honest with you, I don't really care. Until you start winning some games, you get out there and show that you deserve to be hired. I really don't care. Plus, I'm really not until somebody explain to me why Bieniemy is not a head coach, y'all can miss me with it. That's just as plain as I can put it.
Yeah. I mean, I think I can give you my rationale for why he's not. I think because the goalpost continues to move as it comes to hiring black head coaches. 5 years ago it was, well, there's not enough black offensive coordinators. There's no black, and everybody's, hiring black OCs and things of that nature. And so they want to, basically, they basically want to, get the next hot offensive name. Well, Eric Bieniemy has led the Chiefs offense the last 3 years, and everybody knows what that offense has done. So they just keep moving the goalposts. That's all it comes down to.
Well, when they finally get the goalposts, get their measurements right, put it in the middle, line it up, test it out, let some people kick through it. Couple of raised hands. I ain't dealing with them.
Yeah, and again, if you look at it, there's 2 black offensive coordinators. There were 2 black offensive coordinators in the NFL last year, and both of them are coaching in the Super Bowl next week. So if that don't tell you everything, I don't know what will. Davon, welcome in, man. All right, Davon can't hear us, or maybe he's on mute. Yeah, and again, I get it.
Unmute yourself.
Yeah, Davon, can you unmute yourself? It's fine. We'll keep going.
Figure it out.
No, it's fine.
We'll be here. We'll be here.
No, it's no problem. So yeah, and again, I just think the goalpost keeps moving, obviously. And and I've heard excuses, well, he's still coaching, so teams didn't have time to interview him. Kansas City had a bye week. So if you wanted to interview Eric Bieniemy, you had time to interview him during the bye week. And again, a couple years ago, San Francisco, as Cisco well knows, hired Kyle Shanahan while he was still coaching with the Falcons, and they just waited until the Falcons season ended to announce it. So it's not like you got to wait for a guy to be free to hire him. If you want him, you'll get him.
Yeah, I said this not too long ago. If I need a coach, I want to see who goes far down the line, so I can. That's who I want. I don't need nobody that's at home with me.
Right, exactly. You want somebody who's going far every year.
Yeah, I don't want nobody that I can just invite over to watch a game with. No, I want somebody that's still playing.
Yeah, ideally, yeah, you do.
Yeah. Especially if that's the reason why they're winning.
Right, exactly.
A very important piece to the reason why they're winning, and he's done that. I mean, he doesn't. He's proven.
Yeah.
Well respected. Who do you notice that said anything negative about him as far as his coaching skills?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's disputing his coaching skills, J-Mac. But
I don't think anybody's disputing his coaching skills, J-Mac. But
you got to turn yourself down.
Yeah, no, he's got to turn off YouTube. I just muted. But no, what you ultimately have to do essentially is, you got to say, hey, listen, this is what keeps going on. People keep saying, oh, well, he has stuff in his past. Matt Patricia had a sexual assault allegation in his past. He still got hired. So it's not this stuff. It's just these guys want to hire people who, frankly, they connect with culturally for whatever reason, and it continues to happen. The last 2 years, we've had one black head coach hired, and the one who was hired this year went to the worst situation in the NFL in Houston because he's waited 28 years to get his opportunity to be a head coach.
Yeah, it's like this. Remember the Titans or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When he finally get to a team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's
all good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, we're gonna continue this conversation, but clearly the Rooney Rule isn't working as intended. So,
I think he old now, bro.
Yeah. Hey, Davon, can you hear us?
Yeah, man, I can hear you.
Hey, welcome in.
Appreciate it. I'm sorry for the lateness, man. I had to take care of some stuff.
Oh no, it's all good.
You got an echo.
Hey, it's an echo on your side.
Oh yeah, hold on.
All right. So one thing I want to bring up there is like, so there's it's got to be common sense involved too, right? You got to have that somewhere in your organization. For some strange reason, I just don't get. If I'm looking at, we already know Bill Belichick's tree is unsuccessful. We just, I shouldn't have to go much further than that. But if I need a coach, why wouldn't I pick somebody from this tree right here? I do not understand it. I do not understand it whatsoever.
Right.
John Harbaugh, Steve Spagnuolo, Leslie Frazier, Ron Rivera, Matt Nagy, Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott, he just played in the AFC Championship game. Doug Pearson just won a Super Bowl. Todd Bowles is currently coaching against him in the Super Bowl.
Right.
So John Harbaugh, who playoffs, at least he's been in the playoffs. Ron Rivera, been in the Super Bowl. I don't get that part of it. It's just I don't get it. Why would you call Bieniemy? It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, that's just smart management. Hey, this guy has had pretty. I don't get it. I think if I'm an owner, this is the first thing I bring up. I want to see the coaching tree. Let me see who are they, what tree are they from, and then I want to look at everybody else is from that same tree, and they're gonna be like, no, thank you. And it should be obvious. Excuse me, it should be just obvious, right?
Yeah,
I don't. To me, it doesn't make sense.
And and again, my biggest issue, and to your point, Cisco, is it's like, these teams are hiring guys, and again, the word was, okay, well, we're not hiring someone who's never been a coordinator or never been a play caller. Well, you hired Doug Peterson and you hired Matt Nagy out of the same system that under Andy Reid, and was basically had the same job under Andy Reid that Eric Bieniemy's had the last 3 years. And again, who you want to attribute the success to, goes into because it's like, well, Andy Reid still calls some plays. Okay, and
but obviously they're well trained,
right? And again, he's still the offensive coordinator, which means he's still putting together game plans every week, even if Andy Reid gets to play.
Right. Yeah. So, if you're the CEO, he'll override when he deems necessary based on his experience.
Yeah, presidents do it all the time. They don't write that shit they be talking. Somebody write it for them.
Yeah, they have speech writers, but some of them do go in and alter things. Barack Obama did that. He would go in and alter his speeches. So it sounded
right.
So yeah,
right. Those are essentially the enemy's plays.
Right.
That has the ultimate stamp of approval on it, because this is the second straight year they're in the Super Bowl.
Right. And again, the first year he's the offensive coordinator, their first year starter, second year player wins the league MVP.
Yep.
Second year he's the offensive coordinator, they get to and win the Super Bowl. The third year they get to and got another great chance to win a back-to-back another Super Bowl. So what is the problem?
Yeah.
And so I go back.
I'm done with him.
Yeah. I go back to what I say. Until there's some diversity in ownership, this is going to continue to be a problem.
Yeah, that's why I'm not praising any coaches that are getting hired right now.
Mm.
I don't give a shit, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Right.
I don't get it.
Right.
Some of the worst. Bill O'Brien is the only coach that's had the most success out of the Belichick coaching tree.
Yeah, that's far.
Something, but they have 0 Super Bowl titles.
Wow. Yeah,
eight playoff appearances. Yeah. However, Andy Reid is 19 playoff appearances, 2 Super Bowl wins.
Yeah, and I mean, you got head coaches getting hired, giving press conferences talking about, their team's gonna be biting guys in the kneecap, and
what?
Yeah.
What are you talking?
Like, what are you talking about? Seriously. Whatever. Anything else on this topic? Are y'all ready to move on?
No, we can move on. This pisses me off.
All right. Yeah, I know. That's fine. Hey, we just got to talk about NBA Friday. Some pretty decent games going on. Some stuff in the news. Milwaukee's currently getting smashed by New Orleans. MC, I got to come to you first. What's wrong with the Bucks, man?
Giannis?
No.
Hey, he asked me, bro. Giannis.
What is that, Cisco?
Yeah, he said, hey, Giannis.
I think some of that smoke came through. My bad. I'm a mute. I'm going to put myself on mute.
No, you fine, man. No, you fine.
So coaching, obviously coaching, something's not right with the coach. The system's not working. I don't know. Because as far as strategy is concerned when it comes to NBA, I'm not as familiar with it as the rest of the panel is. But you have the back-to-back MVP. There's no way you're going to tell me that they're this inconsistent. They have length. They have an all-star point guard. They have back-to-back MVP. They have Chris Middleton for what he's worth as an all-star. You have decent players around them. You got depth. You got length. I don't know what else you need unless Drew Bledsoe just gave him the playbook.
Well, here's the question, Davon. I want to bring you in on this because I know you're a basketball guy as well. Is Mike Budenholzer the right coach to get that team to the next level, or have they really probably reached their ceiling with him? Is he Doug Collins or is he Phil Jackson?
I'm gonna say he's a Doug Collins. He definitely. I think he's done what he can do with this team, man. And like I don't know, like Cisco said, you got a 2-time MVP. You got Swingman and Chris Middleton, who is an all-star because he made an all-star team. So he's credit when credit is due. He is an all-star, but he's not performing at that level. You got other caliber players around him that are really good, but it's just like they cannot, for the love of them, put them pieces together. Yeah. Nobody knows why. I mean, maybe they just need to reevaluate themselves. Like maybe you just need to overhaul and switch the team, start from scratch. Get rid of some pieces. Maybe Giannis is not the type of guy that somebody should be looking at building a team around, because those caliber of individuals that you want to build your franchise around will do enough to keep their teams competitive in the fight at all times. And he's not showing that right now.
Right.
I have not yet to see a 2-time MVP
and reigning defensive MVP as well.
Team getting manhandled the way that the Milwaukee Bucks are. I haven't seen it yet. In all my years of watching basketball, I haven't seen it yet. So I don't know what this new fabric of NBA is about, but it doesn't look good for teams that you expecting to be at the top tier compared to those that are not. And you got these, I mean, I'm not hating on the Pelicans. They got good talent, but they shouldn't be smacking on Milwaukee like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I can see them competing for a stretch, but then there's supposed to be that takeoff time, and we're not seeing it. Like it's a lot of teams that's just supposed to be showing up, and they're not showing up.
Right.
The teams that you're not expecting, like the Spurs, for instance, are doing their thing. They're making noise. They want to be a force to be reckoned with, and they're trying to put that down every night. That's the intensity that these teams should be playing with. So yeah, I don't think they probably do need a coaching change, somebody to change that culture a little bit, because whatever they're trying to figure out is not working for them.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing you mentioned that, and I want to come back to you and J-Mac on this. Do you all think Giannis is too much of a pattern player?
Yes.
Again, we talked about this last week. Giannis has his problem is his game.
Right.
So his tendencies are it's just too much information out there to figure him out as a team.
Right.
A team can figure him out. I don't know. I think Middleton's ceiling is where it's at. So, if you're looking for Middleton to bring even more value than he has, because he's been playing great this year.
Right.
It's Giannis, man. As the leader of that team, every night teams gear to stop him.
Right.
And these days it's looking like it's pretty easy. Miami put the blueprint out there, and everybody.
Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto did first. Miami kind of popularized it in the playoffs, but that's the easiest thing to do. I've never seen LA build a wall until the last time they played the Bucks. I seen them build a wall. The information is out there.
Yeah.
And whether he listens to us and to people or not, or listen to the critics, he's got to develop some type of 13 to 18 foot type of game where he throws up hooks and he knows how to stop before he gets too deep.
Right.
But he's so big. But like I said, the problem I think is his athleticism. He is so big, he doesn't have that switch gear aspect to his game. He can't throttle down fast enough. Like he's that sports car that's gonna always gonna go over the side of that mountain because he can't adjust and go around that curve.
Right. Yeah. To your point, J Mac, and I agree with you. I think until he develops some counters to his game, where again it's you make a move and you can basically because of your length and your athleticism, you can get by a lot of people with that move. But come playoff time, when teams have time to adjust between game 1 and 2 and 2 and 3, you got to have counters. You got to have secondary stuff that you can go to off of those moves. And I don't know if he can do that. Cisco, go ahead.
My thing is my thing goes back to the whole Kobe Bryant thing, right? So you love and adore Kobe Bryant. Okay, if you love him so much, just pattern your mid range. You don't have to be you don't have to live out there in the 3-point range. But like MC said, be on the block and then be in that middle between the 15-foot, 18-foot range where either you're on the corner or in that space to where if they put a 4 or 5 on you, you can have enough space to where you can go by them. And like you said, and if they stop you, then obviously you're the move. To just pattern your game off Kobe.
Right.
If you take that part of how Kobe operated in that mid range, you can't stop him. There's no way you can stop him.
Right.
And again, to piggyback, I think what'll help him is when he grabs a rebound, he likes to go coast to coast.
Right.
Giannis is so big, he gets a rebound, 3 steps, he's at the goal. On the other end, I think he needs to get the ball out to the guard, run the floor, and he'll be in better positions to score the ball in transition. Because once he grabs the ball and he goes, he's not really he looks for shooters, but he's mainly looking to get to the basket.
Right.
And that's and I think he needs to start slowing down by the time he gets before half court so he can control himself.
Yeah. Hey, Herc, I want to bring you in on this. Welcome in. What you got on this?
Hey, and I'm actually watching this game intensely because I got a little FanDuel wager and I loaded up on the Bucks tonight, and I'm shocked that the Pelicans is bludgeoning them. But I mean, y'all hit Giannis on the head, like you say, 3 steps and he's at the cup. Without a mid-range game, again, he's never, because he's got a slow shooting motion. He's never going to be a prolific 3-point shooter. Right. But he draws so much of the defense. They either need to put him with more shooters around him, because who on that team can create their own shot besides him?
I mean, Drew Holiday might be the only one. Drew Holiday might be the only one.
Might be, and it seems like Drew Holiday only shows up in the postseason because he's getting cooked tonight by Eric Bledsoe, who's got a little bit on his shoulder because they let him go.
We'll get back.
Yeah. Brooke Lopez is big for no reason. Why is a 7-footer spotting up? Get your big ass on the box. Like Lopez is a waste to me. And Middleton is a good to decent all-star. I mean, that's it. He's not going to be a superstar. He's good for 25 to maybe 30 on a good night if he's hitting his threes, but he's struggling from there. And they just don't have enough. And again, like you guys already hit it in the playoffs, the wall with Giannis. He can beat his main, or even 2 defenders, but again, they're going to collapse and they're going to take charges and they're going to get him out of his game.
So I just want to ask the panel a question and just, bear with me for a second, but not to make excuses for Giannis, but how much do you think analytics essentially taking away the mid-range, the value of the mid-range game has really kind of not allowed or not forced Giannis to develop a mid-range game? Like we basically say the NBA today is threes, dunks, and layups. So again, we know Giannis can get the layups and the dunks, and he's never going to be a good 3-point shooter. But how much have analytics really factored in to his lack of development of that mid-range game, given how it seems to devalue the mid-range game?
Bob, I'm going
to tell anybody to watch the Golden State Warriors year before last. because when they were making their runs, they didn't stick with the three the 3 and dunks. They were cutting, and they were getting, if it's an open shot, whether it was a mid range or a 3-pointer or a dunk, they took a good shot. You can't deny a good shot.
Right. Go ahead, Devon.
I'm gonna say analytics is really breaking down, yes, what the play of the NBA is today compared to 10 years or 20 years ago. It's just showing you the changes that it is for today.
Right.
But as an NBA superstar, you should want to have a total package of game so that, yes, like you said, you got to have counter moves on top of counter moves on top of counter moves. You can't be a one-show pony and expect to truly thrive and survive in the league. You know, that's what kills a lot of really good players who had potential to be something, but you get stuck in a one dimension instead of bringing yourself out of that box. And right now he's stuck in the box. And I get it, you know, he has a slow shot and everything like that, and he won't ever be like no crazy knockdown 3-pointer, but he can be at least a decent spot up. Mid-range, you have to be above average for his height, because him posting somebody up, like let's say like a you know, like another swing man, like a Chris Middleton or somebody that's trying to guard him, he still has some length on him. So you turn around and shoot the fade over him, you got that height advantage. You know, you have to work on these things. And then that opens up the game more for you, because now they're respecting your post game. So now they have to strategize against that. And like the other dude said, you get them some more shooters. See, that's another thing. They don't have a real consistent go-getter who you can send in with your second unit that you know guaranteed night in and night out he's going to get buckets. They don't have that.
Yeah.
The only person close to that, like he said, they have is maybe Drew Holiday when he decides to show up, and Chris Middleton when he's on. But those guys are starters. You don't really have a second unit guy that can come in there and be a threat that you really have to worry about. You know, you have some decent pieces out there, but ain't none of them really no threats like that to nobody. So that's why nobody's really worried about them. But he has to be that all around threat. Like if he really wants to survive in this league like that, he has to be an all around threat. But I don't think no one close to him is really getting that through his head like that.
Right.
They're just allowing him to blossom slowly with the little bit of work that he's trying to do. It's like, if I'm the coach, I'm like, listen, off season, you working on them shots all day. I don't need you in practice. I don't want to see you go to the basket not one time.
Right.
This is your house right here. You need to show me you, because that's exactly the same thing that Greg Popovich did with Tony Parker.
Right.
He couldn't shoot to save his life coming into the league.
Yep.
Then look what happened later on down the line. You had to respect his mid-range shot. It was good. You had to respect his three. It wasn't crazy, but it was good enough that you had to respect it. Why? Because Pop made him put in that work on that and held him accountable. Even when he tried to talk trash, like, okay, you hit 3 in a row, that don't mean nothing to me. I need to see that on an every night basis.
Yeah.
This is what they're not doing with him. They're not forcing him to step up out of that shell that he's in. Yeah, you might have won back-to-back MVP. You might have won Defensive Player of the Year off your pure athleticism, but sometimes it takes a lot more than that to reach that next level. And if you want to get to that next level, like the LeBrons and KDs and stuff like that, that you really can't do nothing with, you have to put in that work. You think these dudes are just solely working on one aspect of their game when it's on the offseason? No, they're putting in full body work. You can't just work on one half or one portion of anything. You have to work on the total body of work to be that complete player.
Yeah.
And he's not taking it that serious like he needs to, and it shows.
Yeah. That's an interesting take. Go ahead, Cisco. You're on mute, Cisco.
I want to follow on with Devon because he hit it right there in the head, right? Whole body of work. But he also said there's levels to this, right?
Right.
With what Kevin Durant did to improve his game, Giannis should be doing that same thing. What LeBron James has done to improve his game, he's done it. To me, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Giannis, all these guys, they're not evolving their game. They're really not. The only person that I've seen that I've watched have really evolved their game, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and Steph Curry. Steph Curry, he could have been just an outside perimeter, but he does everything to include works on his handles.
Right.
Obviously, he's weak on defense, but he doesn't make that an excuse. He still takes the balls to the hole, and he's that guy.
Right.
So, I don't know. I don't know what else you can do.
Well, that's interesting. This interesting point you brought up, Cisco, because as I think about it, in all honesty, is Giannis really a taller Russell Westbrook when we really look at him in totality? Like we don't question his drive, we don't question his dog, we don't question his desire to win, but these guys are athletic freaks, and as they're getting older and as they're aging, we're not necessarily seeing the fundamental part of their games evolve to the point where, as their athleticism starts to wane, that they can continue to be these, effective and unstoppable forces.
And like you said, they're going to figure out when it comes time to play for playoffs, and they damn sure will figure out when it comes time to championship rounds.
Yeah.
So I think Devon's he hit on the point. I think Deshaun, he made great points. J Mac, maybe the Bucks. I think the Bucks can make a comeback. They're down by 10 right now. So
yeah.
And then like for all that, we kind of dog on Chris Middleton, but he's a good 2, maybe a better 3.
Yeah.
I think he's a better 3. Yeah.
But if you have a bona fide, if you have that upper echelon of players, we're talking about LeBron, we're talking about KD. He's a great piece to have on your team. He's more valuable to them than I would say. He's a more valuable number 2 or wingman than I would say than Russell Westbrook or something like that, or even perhaps James Harden, if I dare, because James Harden has done nothing but choke.
He's choking tonight.
No, he's got it going tonight.
Absolutely.
He couldn't.
Go ahead, Hurt. I'm sorry.
No, what I was saying is he was saying that they might be able to come back. They can't keep Steven Adams off the boards. The dude got 20 rebounds.
Yeah, no. Steven Adams a dog. He's a dog.
Yeah. So is what it is. But you still got to give Harden his due. He's still one of the best scorers this game has ever seen. And he is not in the category. He's way above Middleton because
I'm not putting him in the same category with Middleton.
Okay.
As far as value to a superstar or value to a number 1, I think his value is better because you put something on defense. Unlike Mr. Olay himself, the beard.
He plays the passing lanes.
I mean,
I want to not change the subject, but
go ahead, Jimmy.
I'm gonna switch teams, man. What y'all think about Brooklyn and KD's situation, man? The fact that they're talking about recovering, sitting out, recovering for that Achilles surgery. Are we calling BS on that as just rest, or what are we doing? Because I said the way they're playing all those minutes can't be good for him. Cannot.
I agree with that. Because for him just to come back, I mean, he's been performing like he never left. He's been performing like he never left. But definitely coming back from an injury like that, to still being able to perform is something to be said about, his work ethic alone to get back to the game. And him being a competitor, I know he hates the position that the team is in right now, and he tries to do what he can do, but I mean, sometimes, certain things is out of control. So maybe giving him some rest is needed because you definitely want him to be at that level in the long run. And if you overrun him now, he'll do everything he can to be productive, but it won't be in the manner of what you're gonna want it to be.
Right.
He's gonna be worn out, and his production is gonna be. He's gonna have the spurts, but he's not gonna have that killer like he's giving you right now, and that's what you're gonna need in them stretch. Like if you really want to do something to come out of the East, going against teams like Miami and Boston, you're gonna need that 100% KD. So if he's only like 80 right now, I mean, cutting down his minutes per game right now could be a good thing for you in the long run.
Yeah, I think I agree with Dave. I think they got to play the long game because again, they obviously have aspirations of trying to win a championship this year. And right now, I mean, it's January. You're not going to win a championship in January, or February. They got to play the long game with them and make sure that they allow him to ramp up, going into the playoffs. But they're playing those guys a lot of minutes because again, their depth it's okay. But they don't have a lot of size, and particularly you look at KD is their tallest player. If you think about it, which is crazy. So for him, for the remainder of the season, I think they really got to play the long game. I don't have them coming out of the East. Obviously, I think Philly comes out of the East, but they view themselves as contenders as they should with those three guys. But they got to play the long game.
Yeah. I agree with that, but pretty much what the panel is saying, and I agree with J-Mac. I think you have to be able because you put Kyrie. If you have two of those, if I'm a head coach, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to give him as much rest as I can. Like I said, the depth's okay. Kate, my best player, Katie, just came off injury, a serious injury or recovery. Yeah, I would definitely try and make it because all you need is two of them, really. That's really all you need is two of those guys, and they'll be effective to be able to win in any situation.
That's
like a Philly, maybe against LA, be a little bit harder. I got you there, but for the most part, they'll be all right.
Yeah, regular season, he doesn't need to play all those games. No, but here's the deal: Kyrie, as well, doesn't need to play a whole lot of minutes as well because he's injury prone as well.
Right.
Yeah, I would definitely try to stagger them, right? You have to stagger them somehow. The only person I was trying to who played the longest or the most would probably be James Harden.
Oh yeah,
he's dependable in that sense too.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
Yeah, that's a good question, J Mac.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. NBA is fun right now, man, because we're entering unknown. This is an unknown for sports fans, for players, for organizations. Seasons aren't going to go typically like they usually go, where you can just dictate, where you can predict early on who's going to be where, because you just don't know. These guys are playing there's a different feel to basketball now than in past years. With the pandemic, with the not having the fans in the stands, to probably even to how they travel in the limitations they have when they go. I mean, it's these are real business trips that they're taking.
Yeah.
And there's no time for anything other than business. So that could play a factor into the psyche of these players. I expect more ups and downs from teams. We saw the Lakers lose a couple in a row. I'm not worried about it. The Clippers were without Kawhi and Paul George, and they still won. So this season is really whoever's on the court. You just got to deliver and play.
I think this is a season where if you're a team that's probably a playoff team, this is a season where you're least concerned about what seeding you're in. You just want to get in.
Yep.
You'll worry about the matchups and stuff later on because there is no real home court advantage with no fans or minimal fans in the stands. So
if you're an older team, you kind of want that home court advantage.
If you're what?
If you're an older team, you want that home court advantage, in my opinion.
Why?
Less travel.
I mean, you travel private anyway. It's not like it's not like you gotta worry about brittle bones. And the way these teams do it now, and again, I'll speak to Golden State. When they were going on their runs, a few years ago, one of the things they started doing was they stopped traveling right after the game. They would stay overnight in the city that they were in and then get up in the morning and then get on a plane and travel. Even if they were playing that next night, just because they put such a premium on rest and recovery. So I think you got a lot of teams kind of, doing that now. I just think it's the way they're even structuring the season now. When you look at, you got some background noise on somebody. The way they're doing the season now, you basically, are playing, home and homes against the same team. So, it kind of has a playoff feel to it anyway. But yeah, I just think teams are really putting an emphasis on, not worrying about seeding. They just you just want to get a dance. And with the playing game, if you think about it, if you're in that 8th, 9th, 10th spot, you still got a chance to get in even late in the season with the play-in. So yeah.
You see the Knicks blowing out the Cavs?
Yeah, the Cavs are an interesting story this year. They're having a pretty interesting season, but question around the Cavs is, what do you do with Andre Drummond? Do you trade him before the deadline?
Try to. I would.
I think you have to. I think they have to trade him. Unless he said to them, I want to stay long term and I'm planning to stay long term, you got to trade him. Because in the last year of his deal, he can walk out the door for nothing. And you got Jared Allen, who, again, I think seems to fit their plans long term with some of their young guys like Sexton and, some of their young guys. So I think they got to trade him.
Yeah.
Even if they could just get a first-round pick for him. But I think they got to move him. And I think Portland should be calling them immediately about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric Cantor is trash.
Well, defensively, he's a nightmare. And when the one thing from Drummond, defensively, he can clear the boards. He obviously is a good shot blocker, good help side defender, and he can get you 18 points a night. So I think he would, take a lot of pressure off of that defense. He would give them what Hassan Whiteside gave them last year, but better, much better. So
yeah. Hey, Hurt, man, what's going on with the score, man? You winning in FanDuel?
Hell no, man. I need 2 more threes from Middleton, and he can't hit the damn backboard right now.
Yeah.
But and it sucks though, man, because I play these tickets where all of it's got to hit. I mean, I got the Giannis points, rebounds, Steven Adams. It's like all or nothing. I'm 6 of 7, and it sucks. So,
hey,
but 2 more threes. Huh?
Go ahead, Hurt.
I was like I said, 2 more threes, and that's 1,100 in my pocket.
Hey, we actually thinking about expanding U3 Sports here down the line to do some daily fantasy. So you play daily fantasy, so definitely got to get you in when we go to that.
I already know. He was the first one. He was the first one I tagged.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's my hustle money. I mean, I do fantasy football, daily fantasy football. I'm toddling in basketball. I'm more successful at football. Because basketball, you just don't know. Like I think 2 nights ago, I had AD to get 23 points, and no, like, come on, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't pick AD to do jack right now.
Against Detroit?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. No way he wasn't going to get that. No way.
And he didn't play. He was out.
I got it. And then I rolled him against the Sixers the other night, and he had to get like 24, and I think he got like 19. And then he had to get 8 rebounds. He got like 6. So I don't know, man. So it's hit or miss, you know what I'm saying? And I look for, patterns, and you try to play, you stay away from guys on back-to-back nights. Like, I actually ran 2 tickets tonight. I've got this game, and I've also got the Nets game because they didn't have KD. So I loaded up on everything Harden and Kyrie, but I need a Kyrie to hit 2 threes. I think he's 1 of 3 right now, but they're up by like 28. So he's not getting back in the game.
Yeah, he's on the bench.
Yeah, he's on the bench.
Yeah. So they don't need him. So I'm like, damn it. They seem like sure number bets. And I look for, not the impossible, but you get better odds on things of that nature. Betting on KD to get 30 a night ain't gonna get you no money because that's what he does. So you got to look for things of that nature. But yeah, I'll definitely look forward to that.
Yeah, definitely.
And have y'all been seeing a lot of blocks in the NBA this year? For some reason, it's been a block party.
A block, yeah.
There's been people going to the rack, getting that shit slapped on a regular.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
Yeah. Anything else in NBA news? Anything going on we need to talk about?
Nah, it's still early in the season, man. So let's let them do their thing. But we do have Brooklyn is getting ready to play the Clippers next week.
Yeah, that should be an interesting matchup
on Tuesday.
Yeah, Paul George and Kawhi are back. Yeah, definitely be an interesting.
Yeah, that's a lot of star power, man. A mini All-Star game. So we'll see.
Gotta see that, man. Gotta see it.
At least the starting five for All-Star team right there.
Yeah.
Come on,
we'll definitely see. I'm sure we'll be talking about it before the game. Go ahead, Hurt.
No. I'm talking to myself. I was just saying, just 2 more little lucky threes from Middleton.
Yeah, good luck.
Thanks.
That's money talking. That's what money does.
Exactly.
Hey, money good.
Absolutely.
Money great.
Look. Anytime you can turn $20 into $1,100, come on, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You got to take that.
Yeah. That's Frank Lucas type deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in other news, anything going on in news we haven't talked about? Anything? Anybody?
Nah, it's Friday, man. We talked about Colorado. We talked about Cisco talked about Colorado. I didn't really talk about Colorado too much.
Well, you actually did because you said
you did. You said you had a partner in Colorado,
right? That you can't talk to.
I thought I was talking to myself. I thought that was in my head.
Oh yeah, that stuff's still in the air. I can feel it in your spirit.
It's going to the internet. It's affecting me.
Yeah, we call Sam Donald Sam Bradford 15 times a night. So yeah,
Hey, yo, J-Mac had Sean saying Sam Bradford. It was me first, really. I planted the seed, but I blame J-Mac on that one.
Jesus. Yeah. So since we got nothing in other news, you know what time it is.
All right, give me that top 5, baby.
It's top 5 time.
Top 5 time.
Top 5 time. Anybody got a top 5 they want to do tonight?
Let's do something overrated.
Something over.
You said something overrated.
Yeah, something overrated.
So, what's your top 5 all-time favorite cartoons you watched as a kid?
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Are we talking about series? Talking about movies?
Cartoons. I mean, if you want to give up movies,
I do a lot of anime too, though. I'm sorry.
I mean, I do too, but I mean,
as a kid.
Oh, okay. Shit. Thundercats.
Tom and Jerry. Yeah. Transformers. Oh, G.I. Joe.
Well, no, go to your top. Give us your top 5, J-Mac. Go ahead.
Oh man, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Tom and Jerry, what's the Thundercats? Thundercats. Yeah, Thundercats. And I would have to say my number 5 would be damn, I can't say Dragon Ball Z. I wasn't a kid then. I don't know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something. I don't know. Man, I ain't watched that many cartoons, man. You talking long.
Croissant brand? Yes.
Let's go. You want to go next?
Sure. I got one for you. Inspector Gadget. Dun, dun, dun. Inspector Gadget. Thundercats. Silverhawks. Was it called Silverhawks?
Silverhawks, yeah.
Silverhawk,
Yeah,
yeah.
Silverhawk. And then X-Men and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay, all right. Davon, you're up next.
All right, so mine's is pretty similar to everybody else's, just about. So yeah, Ninja Turtles for me, G.I. Joe, Transformers, X-Men, and Bionic 6.
Oh, Bionic 6.
Oh wow, Bionic 6. Wow, okay. Hurt. What's your top 5?
My top 5: Voltron, He-Man.
Ooh, that's a good one. Voltron.
Yeah, that was my the Lions was me. He-Man, Thundercats. Don't judge, but Captain Caveman and the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, good.
Hey,
I forgot all about He-Man.
Yeah, just
I
a question.
had action figures and every damn thing.
Just a
Oh,
question.
absolutely.
Just a
That's a
question. Is it just me, or was Prince Adam suspect as you know what on He-Man?
Oh man, that's classic. That's
Yeah,
classic.
I'm just saying. Yeah, for me, it's definitely Thundercats would be my number 5. I got to go with Transformers number 4. Number 3, I love Garfield. I was always a big Garfield fan. His sarcasm was ridiculous.
Yeah, I see where you get it from.
Yeah. Well,
hey, Herc and Devon, I'm trying to tell you, man. Sean's a sarcastic motherfucker, bro.
I mean, they call me the black.
If he had a flavor, bro, shit.
They call me the Black Ryan Reynolds. Number 2 was Charlie. I love Charlie Brown. I was a big Charlie Brown fan. It wasn't a Saturday cartoon, but I love Charlie Brown. And number 1 for me is Looney Tunes. I love the Looney Tunes. I still love the Looney Tunes to this day. It's just classic animation. So yeah, Looney Tunes number 1 for me. Yeah.
Actually, yeah. But there, I had to have a top 10, man, because there's some out there. I forgot who.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's some joints out there, man.
What's the one with he was a marshal and I have a hawk. Hey man, he was on like an alien planet or whatever, dude.
Y'all remember the old Popeye?
Yeah.
Can't forget about Dungeons and Dragons, bro.
Yeah. I'm gonna give y'all a sleeper one. Y'all remember Danger Mouse?
Danger Mouse. I think so. I think I do.
He used to come on Nickelodeon.
I think I do.
We didn't have Nickelodeon.
Yeah, I mean, you know, with things was going well.
He like them old bougie cartoons. You know
what I'm saying? When things was going well, we had cable. When it wasn't, we didn't have cable. So you had to take advantage.
When things were going well, we didn't have somebody's house.
I was gonna throw in Ronin Warriors, even though they had a short run.
I used to love that one, bro.
Yeah.
And then what about Cops too? That was another short one too.
Yeah.
That was like the future, like a Future Cops, whatever. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Brave Star. That's his name, Brave Star.
Yeah.
Brave Star. Okay, yeah.
He was like a sheriff. He had like a cowboy hat on, and he can like kind of do.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Man, he's the only Native American cartoon.
Yeah. Was another one. Oh, the original Justice League of America, Super Friends.
Oh yeah.
Super Friends. Yeah.
That was good. That was good. Justice League. Yeah.
I can't believe ain't nobody said that about Scooby Doo, bro. Y'all don't watch some Scooby Doo before.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah. Without question.
That's like Jordan. You put him on. You put Scooby Doo way up there.
Yeah.
You got Simpsons right there on Jordan, bro. Simpsons is it, bro. 1989.
Y'all used to watch Pro Stars
with Jordan, Bo Jackson, and
Wayne Gretzky. It was Jordan, Wayne Gretzky,
Bo Jackson. Yeah. Come on Saturday mornings on NBC.
Hey, didn't they have a wrestling cartoon too with the
Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah. It was called, I forgot what it's called. Give me a second. It's called Hogan. Is it Hogan and Friends?
It may have. It may have. It may have.
Yeah, Mr. T. Yeah, no. Oh, Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling.
Yeah.
Don't forget. Your boy had one too, man. Mr. T.
He did have a cartoon.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, bro. 2 years.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh man.
Yeah. I'll tell you another one I like too was Fat Albert. I like Fat Albert.
That was a good one.
Yeah, Fat Albert was legit.
Yeah.
Man, we missed a lot of them, didn't we?
Yeah,
Hey, them animations was trash.
I don't know if you ever seen. I
yeah.
don't know if you ever seen the Jackson 5 cartoon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
I've seen
Yeah.
that before.
They will spin across the whole damn screen. They'll do 2 spins and they wind up in the desert. Do 2 more spins, they wind up in the city. 2 more spins, they be in the living room.
Yeah.
Let's see. I watched some Felix the Cat also.
Yeah.
Pepe Le Pew, he was with Tom and Jerry.
That's Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was part of the Looney Tunes.
That's why Looney Tunes to me is number one. They had so many characters, and it's crazy now if you watch it now how much adult humor was in Looney Tunes. If you watch it now, there's so much.
That's just like Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, well, they was just raw.
Oh, they was just raw.
Yeah.
You can't deny DuckTales though.
Yeah, DuckTales.
DuckTales is or Tailspin.
Tailspin, yeah.
Oh, what about? Hey man, y'all forgetting one. What about the Smurfs?
I never really watched
the
Smurfs.
Smurfs.
Yeah.
See the Smurfs.
I didn't say I
Smurfs
watched
in my lineup with the Gummy Bears.
Never heard of.
You mean the Care Bears?
Care Bear.
No, not the Care Bears. And you can Google it. I mean, YouTube it right now. There is a show called The Gummy Bears.
Wow.
Yeah, I used to watch all the cartoons. I know.
No. You weren't the only one. Trust me.
I mean, the thing was, I don't know how y'all grew up, but like I grew up where Saturday mornings we had to clean up.
Yeah.
So you either had to get up real early to clean up so you could watch the cartoon, or you had to clean up after the cartoon, but that cut into you going outside time. So
it wasn't no after. It wasn't no after. You had to do that. You had to clean up before.
Yeah.
No, luckily, I was on the West Coast, so those cartoons would come on early. So my parents take sleep, so I have my good bowl of cereal. Just be chowing down. You wasn't finna catch me, bro. My parents wake up at like 9:30, but as soon as I heard them move, click.
Man,
I that broom starts moving.
I used to eat that cereal in a gumbo pot. Put a whole half a gallon of milk in it. Sit there all damn day.
Hey, that's where Ice Cube got it from for Friday.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I had a scoop spoon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Cartoons was my joints back in the days, man.
Man, it's crazy, man. Do they even still come on like that? Like,
I have no idea.
Here, I know for a fact the Thundercats, they tried to revamp that show.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe, they changed it up, but they tried to bring that back.
They brought back Voltron. They brought back Voltron on Netflix. It's pretty good.
Yeah. There was another one too. I think it's called Ultraman.
Hey, Wayne Briscoe say, "Where's the '90s, 2000s love?"
Yeah, I'm right. You got to come on in the panel. Come on
and give it to us, bro.
Were you talking about Power Rangers days?
Oh man.
Turbo Team was my shit too,
well,
bro.
He's saying '90s, 2000. We got to talk about Dragon Ball Z then. We got to get some Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z, bro.
I can talk about Dragon Ball Z in the '80s when it was used to you could only get it on the VHS and it was straight Japanese.
Yeah, we wasn't doing that good, bro.
I mean, we weren't doing that good, but when you know people who got it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you're gonna talk about the '90s, you gotta talk about the Batman the animated series.
Oh yeah, it was. Hey, but you know what though? When you go back and look at these, or you research the actual cartoons, they only had like 30 episodes, but it felt like those episodes lasted for like 7 years.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, you know, Simpsons is still around, always will be around.
Man, they have let. And then, if you're talking about 90s, Pinky got to do Pinky in the Brain.
Pinky in the Brain. Yeah, the Animaniacs. And the Animaniacs. Yeah, in general. Yeah. Yeah, like, yeah.
What about that?
Duck.
What about the
I forgot about
cartoon where the superheroes come together to form one?
Oh, Captain
America?
Captain Planet.
Oh, Captain Planet. That's right.
Yeah.
Interesting tidbit about Captain Planet. Based off that guy, they drew him off of Tom Cruise, and Tom Cruise actually voiced the first episode, maybe the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Captain Planet.
Yeah, he's based off Tom Cruise. They drew him to look like Tom Cruise.
That's another interesting tidbit. If you want to see a funny version of Captain Planet, Google Don Cheadle Captain Planet when he did Captain Planet for Do or Die or Funny or Die Network. One of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, I might have to check that out.
Yeah, just Google it. It's you'll find him on YouTube. He did like a couple of them. Oh,
that's crazy.
Everything's a cartoon now. But see, I got a daughter. So when I was growing up, you know, Dora the Explorer. When she was growing up, Dora the Explorer.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, my daughter was into that. Dora the Explorer, Ni-Hao Kai Lan, Wonder Pets.
Yeah.
Y'all don't watch Rocco's Modern Life? Rocco?
Is that?
Yeah, my daughter used to watch. She was watching that on her Disney Channel and all that good stuff.
Rugrats? Jeez.
Oh yeah.
Can't forget the Rugrats, of course.
Nah.
Oh, I'm sorry though, man. That damn Inspector Gadget was the shiz yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They ain't on Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, although the live action movie wasn't very good, but you know.
No, it wasn't.
Nah.
It turned to
not if you got Matthew Broderick playing it. Negative, not at all.
Hey, I think Pink Panther stood the test of time. I think there's a Pink Panther cartoon made it all the way back to slavery.
One of the best
every 10 years they come with
soundtrack.
Yeah.
You know,
that's his pimp music, bro.
And the crazy part was never talked, but it was still a good cartoon. Never had a voice. Yeah, man.
And then don't forget about Mighty Mouse, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna mention Mighty Mouse, but you know, y'all said Mighty Mouse.
Mighty Mouse was legit.
Yeah.
Garfield and Friends was probably one of my favorite shows too, man.
Which one?
Garfield and Friends.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the better ones I watched.
Garfield's my guy.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
I used to read him in the comics. When people used to read newspaper back in the day. Remember that?
Yeah.
You from the comic section?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You three.
Yeah.
Friday night, we talking about some cartoons. Yeah. Which one of y'all gonna go after we get off and YouTube some cartoons and sit there and watch with a big bowl of cereal?
I'm not. I'm actually gonna go to that Don Cheadle Captain Planet because I need to.
I'm about to go in here and watch this Avatar: The Last Airbender. While you playing?
Oh man! Oh god!
Man.
I never liked it, but you gotta give it to South Park too, man.
South Park, yeah, South Park been around.
They were.
Laboratory. That was pretty good.
The movie.
And if you're gonna get a South Park, you gotta give it up to Family Guy as well. I mean, you know.
South Park movie sucked though.
That's true. Family Guy definitely a good show.
Yeah, all the Cleveland shows suck, but you know.
Cleveland shows suck.
Yeah.
Major.
Yeah.
I actually took somebody on a date to watch South Park the movie.
Really?
Yeah, we both walked out.
Damn.
Yeah, you forgot to mention that in the top 5 movies you walked out on.
Terrible decision, man. Terrible decision.
Yeah.
It was almost an unlucky night.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh yeah, he was right, man. They did have the gummy bears, bro. I forgot about it. I had to look it up.
Yeah. Oh,
Gummy
man.
bears, bro.
Yeah.
And they had the Hulk too.
The Hulk cartoon?
Yeah, the Hulk cartoon, Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had the gummy bears too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Laser Tag Academy. Zelda. I didn't have Zelda.
They did have Zelda.
Holy shit.
Yeah, they did have Zelda. They did have Zelda. Sure did.
They had the Mario Brothers cartoon as well.
And they had Police Academy too, bro.
Yeah.
Chip and Dale. Where I said that.
Yeah. Hey, I know J-Max got to check out.
Sure.
But yeah, we're gonna wrap this thing up here in a minute. But definitely.
Yeah. Hey, Briscoe, next time come on board, bro.
Yeah, you got to come on with us next time, Briscoe. You got to represent because I know we forgot some, so you definitely got to come in.
Like,
we got to get to that football next week, bro.
For a while now. We mentioned the Bucks back since 2016. We're talking about the Bucks.
What's that?
We got some Super Bowl coming up, bro.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're doing our Super Bowl preview show breakdown next Friday night. So be on the lookout for that. Also, I got a couple of one-on-one interviews dropping this weekend. One with a Buffalo Bills fan. Get to chop it up a little bit about this season. Obviously, the season just ended for them, but get a chance to chop it up. So be on the lookout for that. And of course, as always, if you did not, please don't forget to like, click, and subscribe, and turn on those notifications. So when we go live, you'll be the first to know. And again, if you're watching us, thank you for watching. Please always feel free to jump in the live panel. We love to hear from you. Your voices matter. That's why we are here at U3 Sports Talk, because your sports talk matters to us like nobody else. Anything else?
Nah, man. Peace, man. Y'all be good, man. Salute, bro.
Oh my God. Yeah, be safe, people.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
salute. Have a great weekend. And again, we'll see y'all very, very soon. But turn on those notifications so you know when we'll be back. All right? Y'all take care. Have a good night.
And you see how I just trashed Sean on that one. On every argument I won.
He won nothing.
Every argument.
Yeah, he won nothing. All right.
Yeah.